works with several nonprofit organizations, and he also has an entertainment company, WMW Entertainment, and they do several major events throughout the country and international. So thank you, Alan, for moderating the panel today. And with that, I will turn it over to Alan Wright.
Thank you so much, Emily. All praise and honor due to God for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. First off, all praise and honor due to God. Thank you for this opportunity as well to be a part of such a magnificent event. And but we've got a great panel ahead for you that we're gonna dig into and really help you answer some questions to entrepreneurship that you may have, and also tell you a little bit about their start, their struggle, and their success. Amen. So the first person that I would like to introduce to everyone is near and dear to my heart, Yolanda Dunn of, what's the correct way? I want to say your fitness company of Fit Time. Go ahead. Go ahead, Emily.
It's Fit Time.
Fit Time.
It's Fit Time.
I was going to add to it. Fit Time now. Okay. Now I have to tell you, I personally know about how Fit Time is done until they start another.
Hey, Alan, we got feedback from you.
We got it.
Yeah, it's from on your end.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just to turn it down just a little. Or the mic is next to that. There we go. Perfect. There we go. So Yolanda Dunn, CGFI, FS, PES, CNC. When Yolanda's Dunn, now husband, popped the big question, she began a simple exercise regimen to look best on her big day. That's all it was about. She had no idea that her temporary wedding dress weight loss journey would spark a lifelong passion and commitment to fitness, health, wellness, and let alone transform her into a wellness advocate who's helped over 500 people and counting. I think we added about 7 more to that this weekend, Yolanda. And to date, she's taught over 1,000 classes in the past 6 years alone with no plans of stopping. After Yolanda obtained her certified group fitness instructor certification back in 2014, she set out to fulfill her purpose to encourage, inspire, and motivate others to live their healthiest and most active life yet, no matter what age, no matter what circumstance, and without judgment. Her quote is, she gives her clients unconditional love and support, 2 things that are essential to keep people motivated and committed, as she says. As an NASM certified nutrition coach, Yolanda goes beyond the gym and extends into the client's homes. It teaches them how to cook and prepare tasty, nutritious meals that are loaded with protein, vegetables, whole fruits, and whole grains, and are low in salt and sugar, as is very important in our community, which obesity, high cholesterol, diabetes, and other medical conditions are caused from not understanding. So her quote is, she's helping others add years to their life. In the name of Jesus, so says Yolanda, that's priceless for her. As a Pound Fitness and NASM ambassador, Yolanda has encouraged others with a passion for fitness to become a certified instructors or trainers as well. This includes 10 certified Pound Pros and 1 certified personal trainer. In her spare time, after doing all of that, Yolanda enjoys vacationing with her family, which includes her husband, 3 children, shopping, reading, movies, and volunteering in her community. She hosts annual events, Pound for Pink, which is an annual event that supports breast cancer awareness and research. She's also an advisory board member of the Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry and a member of New Horizons Christian Fellowship Women's Ministry. Yolanda is on a mission to become part of the solution to helping end obesity in African-American women who have the highest rate of obesity compared to all other ethnicities, in addition to promoting health, wellness, and fitness across the world. Yolanda, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Alan.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that young man right next to her who inspired all of this. So we got to give you some of that credit, right? Mr. Tito Dunn, who is the founder of Leave Me Be Pest Control, which is a pest company that can provide your home, that can help protect your home or business against pests. He started this company all the way back in March of 2006, servicing residential and commercial businesses within the Chicagoland area. Tito's Pest Control started directly after graduating high school. He wasted no time jumping right in. He worked for the top 2 pest control companies and established himself early on as a leader in sales. That's how he talked himself into that pretty woman next to him with those sales skills. Early on, he was a leader in sales, service, and revenue growth, quarter after quarter. Tito specializes in building and maintaining client relationships by providing exceptional service, experiences, and cross-selling services. Educating his clients on how to manage their properties and keeping them safe from insects and rodents. Being an entrepreneur was not the forefront of Tito's mind. However, when the corporate changes were made, he transitioned into areas that resulted in high turnover in business, continuous route changes, lack of management support, loss of income, and it left him frustrated and unmotivated about his career, realizing that he needed to make an immediate change. After conversation with his spouse and a little bit of research on being an entrepreneur and obtaining his state Illinois certification in pest control, Leave Me Be Pest Control, Inc. was born. Leave Me Be Pest Control, Inc. delivers superior client service and experiences. Tito provides critical staff training, and his stellar coaching and motivation as well is a key. Leave Me Be Pest Control agents perform assessments throughout homes. They do effective evaluations and give lasting resolutions to all of their clients, far beyond his visit. Tito's robust knowledge and experience in home safety, free of insects and rodents, and his ongoing knowledge and development of the industries and the cutting edge products that are being introduced and procedures to solving these problems and complex issues. He's a strategic business planner, and his ongoing community involvement has aligned his company as one you can partner with for a lifetime. I pray I never need your services, Tito. But bugs are his business. He eats, sleeps, and breeds bugs. Don't tell anyone else that, Tito. His professional goal is to be the best in the business, solving pest issues like no other, as he's already doing. He's been married to his wonderful wife, Yolanda Dunn, who is also the founder of It's Fit Time, and they enjoy their family time together. There are 3 children, Keith, Kyra, and Cameron. Tito also takes pride in his daily care of his fish, and he's an avid golf player. So we've got a little golfing to do in the future, Tito. But please welcome Tito Dunn. Lastly here, we have someone who's just absolutely amazing as well. The Tidy Queens Corp founder, Cheyenne No Lewis, began taking on neighborhood residential cleaning jobs on the weekends while working a corporate job during the week, and seeing the lack of detail of attention from current cleaning services that they've been giving, or that they were giving. After a few months in February of 2010, she formed her sole proprietorship, named it the Tidy Queens. And back now in 2012, she decided that there was a need in the market without tapping into a base of research, but that she also wanted to grow her company. And that meant some self-improvement. So she went back to school, got her MBA, and concurrently, while servicing her residential clients and increasing her marketing and her janitorial services, in order to grow her business even further. From the onset of this formation, she's consistently held true to her promise to offer cleaning with integrity. Her goal is to align her company's clients' needs with professionalism and superior workmanship, where they can share one same and common vision: the best quality building maintenance services. Her aim is to build successful, long-lasting, trusted alliances by going above and beyond for her clients' expectations and having open lines of communication where it involves ethical issues leading to the company's service offerings. Above all, the company aspires to perform every job with true Christian values Amen to that, right? So through the word of mouth, she began obtaining opportunities to bid on projects. However, still had a lot to learn because in most cases, she wasn't able to successfully close on the contracts due to competition or lack of exposure. She had a vision for the company. So even without much experience, she did what she needed to do. That incorporated and gave this company more substance and greater value and potential to having clients. So in 2018, she decided to fully devote herself to doing it full time. Fast tracker to 2021. The success of this company is due to the company's investments and its people and its human capital, which I love, people, great customer service, and a tradition of cleaning with integrity. Don't forget those Christian values. The company's slogan is, "We leave no spot untouched," because the founder believed that any quality cleaning must have commitment to consistency, responsive, and thorough service. The best janitorial companies should be committed to health, safety, and environmental stewardship. This can encompass many things, from adequate employee training on both methods of how to clean for health, how to protect their health, and to protect the building's occupants. Likewise, her janitorial company understands both science and chemistry, so they use the cutting edge in order to eradicate disease opportunities, and that's so important right now during this recent pandemic that we face. And she tries to surpass her competitors and set the benchmark for the cleaning industry. With that being said, I bid welcome to our dear cleaning expert, Cheyenne Noel Lewis. Welcome, Cheyenne. So now that you know your panelists a little bit, let's just jump right into it. And I'll start with just a simple question for everyone to just take a round, and you can start. We'll let ladies go first. So Miss Yolanda, will ask you go first. Why did you start your company?
I started it, someone asked me to. So Tito, after we had our third child, he got me a personal trainer after our third child. And so the personal trainer saw something in me that I didn't see and asked me to do group fitness classes at his studio. I wasn't certified. And so I said, well, if I do, I have to get certified. And so I did. And from that time, it just grew from there. It started first with my family, who was my first customers, my first clients in my classes, and seeing them come to class and the fulfillment of exercising and feeling healthier and better about themselves. It grew from there.
Cheyenne, you want to take that question too?
Sure. Like I said in my in the little write-up that you just spoke about, when I was in corporate America, it was the consistent it was just being left off, like the cleaning. So I would constantly find myself going to work and not only cleaning my area, but cleaning my coworkers' areas. So I'm like, this is kind of crazy to have to be cleaning on a daily basis like this. And if a company is being paid, as I said, you have to do it with integrity. If you're being paid for a job, you do it and you do it well. So I decided the only way to do something, like the saying says, if you want something done, you get it done yourself. So decided to start my own company and started it with on a residential basis.
All right. I love the growth that you've had too. Mr. Dunn.
Kind of piggyback up what she was saying, kind of the same things, like as far as integrity, I started off with actually the larger companies, and they're pretty much all about volume. So, and I'm primarily into, solving a problem. Like I want to solve the problem totally. I don't want to, you to be calling me back, weekly, while I'm seeing you over and over and over again for the same problem. But I was beginning to hit heads when I kind of got to the top in that, because, they were trying to pump out like between like 17 and 21 stops a day on like larger homes. And, you're only there like 5 or 10 minutes to kind of solve a problem. So getting back to what she was saying, as far as integrity wise, I'm like, I can't, in my right mind, charge somebody like a full price, when I know I'm only doing like a fourth of the work, as far as solving the problems. So instead of complaining, I did something about it, made my own mission statement. Also too, I was out like primarily like solving like all the problems they couldn't solve. I was already doing that. So I'm like, okay, well, all I'm primarily using is their name. So I just flipped my name on there and then still grind it and still did all the work, but the way I wanted to do. I cut my volume down to a fourth of what they're doing. So therefore I'm not taking on 21 stops, but obviously between 7 and 9 stops, I can spend enough time to solve the problem. And then from there, I was able to get referrals and then continue to build off that.
All right. So we'll keep the floor with you then, Tito, and you can tell us maybe what do you wish you knew on day one as an entrepreneur? If you could go back in time and tell young Tito Dunn, what don't do this or definitely do this, what would that be?
I would tell myself I should have did it earlier. Like for me, like I think I had that gift, like it's kind of a weird talent, but and just being able to like get along with people, like, as far as provide a service and do things the right way. So I would tell myself to start it earlier, but my main obstacle was fear, like me being scared because like with the larger companies, like I had a guaranteed paycheck coming in, like I had a guaranteed money coming in. And then obviously when you branch out to entrepreneurship, you have to get it yourself. So like, but having a supporting wife helped me out a lot, because I got her, I got the kids, so it was just kind of like, that fear factor, like, can I still provide at this level, even though I was comfortable getting the money from them, but knowing that I could do better. So I will tell myself back in the future that I should have started this off earlier than later.
All right. And Mrs. Dunn?
For me, if I could go back, I think God lined it up for me as to where it was supposed to be, because again, it wasn't something that I had foreseen for myself. And being in that position and stepping out on faith and getting certified on something I hadn't considered doing, I think he lined it up just where it was supposed to be. So it's all in God's timing.
Amen. And Miss Cheyenne?
If I had to, I would probably like Tito and Yolanda said, well, not Yolanda, but Tito, I'd probably have done it way sooner and focused more into it as compared to almost having it as a hobby while I was trying to put my all into corporate America. Because I always knew that I wanted to have my own business, and I knew I wanted to do this, but just having the belief in myself that I could do it. Because it is, like Tito said, it is scary when you're leaving a good paying job and you're branching out to make your own money and not knowing exactly where it's going to come from, and you have so many challenges, so much competition, then there's that fear factor.
Yep.
All right. Love that. Love hearing that. I love hearing that. That you should have did it a lot sooner. So next question. Tell me, what's your biggest challenges that you face in this current market post-pandemic or during almost hopefully near the end of pandemic? What are your biggest challenges?
Who do you want to take it?
We'll start with you since we ended with you, Ms. Chen.
I guess one of the biggest challenges that we're having right now, apart from the human aspect of it, it's just that I think everybody under the sun, because we're in a pandemic and the cleaning industry, cleaning companies were one of the few, I would say, industries that saw growth. There's a lot of competition from every Tom, Dick, and Harry deciding to start their own company and not having the knowledge, the education behind it, not having the experience behind it, but then bidding on jobs and underbidding on jobs. So that, I think, has been one of our biggest challenges.
Right. Then we'll move the question on over to Tito.
All right. Well, my industry worked a little bit different in the pandemic than like most companies. We did fall into essential, which, you know, I was grateful for that. But like far as our numbers and far as like our need, it didn't really affect like the company period, to be honest. Actually, well, basically, I mean, it's hard to say this, but like it actually like increased for us during the pandemic. And I can tell you the reasons why. Like in most cases, you know, you got successful husband, successful, you know, wife as well. Like usually they are travel or they're gone all day. Well, in the pandemic, everybody's home. So they're seeing all these pests come in, which was like going unnoticed. You know, if you have a nanny there, for example, and you're gone all day, like, you know, you're only going to see that, you know, towards the evening time. But if all the kids are there, you know, the mom, dad there, whoever's staying with you in the household is seeing this all day long now. So therefore, it was just a matter of them, you know, them just seeing it and then that's giving us a call. And the one advantage I got is like the insects aren't affected. Nothing that I did was affected by COVID. So therefore, like they're going to come as they come, and it's just a matter of the, you know, the clients actually seeing this instead of like the husband telling the husband when he comes home, oh, I seen this, he's seeing it with his own eyes. So therefore, like when I come there, obviously they know it's a need, and if I can provide the solution, then that's what I do.
All right. And moving the question on to you, Mrs. Dunn.
Challenges that we faced as a fitness studio prior to COVID was, of course, getting people motivated to exercise. Luckily, we are blessed with a really good core group of members. So the biggest challenge was us converting over to virtual and getting people to get on board with the concept of virtual fitness, which actually carried us through COVID. So now, and we were actually shut down 3 times during the pandemic where the whole city of Aurora was shut down. So we're, unlike Tito, we're non-essential, unfortunately, go figure. So we had to open up, shut down, open up, shut down. So now, by God's grace, we're back open, and I know there are many businesses that did not survive, so we are truly grateful. So now it's just now getting people acclimated and comfortable coming back live to the studio to do their workouts. Virtual kept us going throughout the whole of 2020 and beginning of 2021, so we'll always have that, but there's nothing like the human connection and coming in and feeling that energy and motivation of working out. So getting back to that, we're still trying to overcome that challenge.
What tips do you have for any new entrepreneur starting out?
Who takes it?
And we'll keep the question with Mrs. Dunn.
I feel a tip that I would say is if it's something that you're passionate about, and something that comes second nature to you, that is one of the easiest part of the entrepreneurship. So it doesn't feel like work. The work part is the grind to make other people believe in your purpose. But as long as you believe in it and you know it like the back of your hand, you're always growing your knowledge, your wisdom. That's the easy part. The harder part is getting people to naturally sense your purpose and seek you out for whatever your business is.
All right. Ms. Cheyenne?
Like Yolanda said, definitely do research. Market research is key. You want to know what's out there. You want to know what your competition is. You want to know how to differentiate yourself. There's nothing like going into let's just say a bucket and you're just like the other fish. It's not going to work. You're not going to go anywhere. You might be able to survive, but for how long? Because they're going to go with the people out there are going to go with who they know. So you coming in as a small fish and not being able to compete against the bigger conglomerates, if you're not able to differentiate yourself and show your value, then it's not going to be you're not going to be able to be that successful.
Mr. Dunn?
Yep, I agree with her on the research aspect as well. Like knowing your competition, which I had like kind of advantage in because like I was, dealing with the top company. So I just picked and choose what I didn't like and didn't, like try to get all the certifications you can get, from if you're underneath somebody like that. And then, primarily just, the branched out aspect, the fear aspect, getting over all that, that'd be the only tips I can primarily give on that. But one thing I do know is like any talent that you have, like most people that you know or just come in contact with, they will tell you like what you're good at. Like, oh, girl, you can cook so good or whatever like that. Whatever talent you have, people will be telling you that, whether, as far as lining up with what God's saying, like you have people that speak into your life. They will tell you like, oh, you're good at this, or you should start your business in this. It's a matter of you to take heed to it and believe in yourself enough to do it.
All right. Okay. Now, when I'm starting out, how do I know how to price myself? Because obviously I, am stepping out on faith, and then I'm stepping out of my job, my comfort zone, what I know, sometimes that's forcibly, but I'm stepping out on faith. How do I figure out how to price myself?
Well, for me, that would go back to doing your market research, knowing what your competition is charging. Definitely, I would suggest something else I forgot to mention. Being a new entrepreneur, you want to try to get a mentor, because someone who's already done it, who can tell you, okay, well, this is what you might face, this is what you're going to face, this is how to overcome it, then that is definite, and that person ideally could help you price whatever you're doing.
Okay. Same question for you, Mr. Dunn. What do you think?
I agree with her 100%. As far as the marketing aspect of it, like, knowing your competition, like knowing what they're offering, but the key for it is like for you to actually like look into yourself and really know your worth. Mm-hmm. Whether you get the job or not, like I really believe that, that God will bless you to like, whatever is for you is for you. Mm-hmm. So therefore, like, if somebody's prices are underneath mine or even above mine, I kind of price the job out as what it's worth. Mm-hmm. Whether I get it or not, I'm not going to undercut. I'm not going to like situation like in sales, like, they ask you, oh, well, some other company offered me this. And I'd be like, we can price match that. So what part of the service you want me to take out? And then that shuts all that down. Because, I'm giving them, inside out, full blown. I know I can solve that problem. So it has to make sense for them. And I'm not like a pressure guy. So I always let them know that it has to make sense for them. But as far as knowing your worth and really knowing the quality of work, that it takes, over all the years, you will know going into the job when you first see it, like how much that job is worth. So it's not you sticking to your guns and then not really going back and forth, deviating back and forth. Of course, over a couple of dollars now, worth primarily losing the job over, but just know your worth because like, people will check around on other prices and stuff like that and be like, oh, I call this company. They said I can come out and do this for $50. Well, I'm like, well, if they're doing for that much, I think that's a good deal too. Yep. So it kind of put the pressure on them to go with them. So obviously they're still calling around. So they obviously know that price they gave them is not going to solve the problem. So to answer the question is just know your worth. And like the young lady said over there, like, as far as, doing your research on other companies.
Okay. What about you, Miss Yolanda?
Just like Cheyenne and Tito said, doing your research and knowing what the market is worth. But one thing that for pricing for me is I really dislike the word free. People always they will always ask you, oh, can I get that first time free or can I get a discount? But I let them know too, it's like when you go to Walmart, when you go to McDonald's, when you go to your favorite whatever, you're not asking for that free whatever. So I use that as the same example. You can pay this $12 for this class and it's for your health, just like you can pay that food for that fast food eating out. So not only know the market and what your competitors are charging, but also do not be afraid. Do not give away your services and your talents for free. Know your price and stick to it and show up and give the value of what you're pricing.
That definitely sounds like some sound advice. What pieces, and we'll keep the question with you, Mrs. Dunn, what pieces do I definitely need to have in order to start my business?
Pieces, you would need a really good support group, someone who believes in what you're doing and giving you that support. I can say with Tito and me, our example is when he branched out, when he was ready and stepping out on faith, I did work corporate and we had a really good balance on supporting each other financially and making sure that the business was up and good from the start, meaning that we had our corporate finance filings done. We had our EIN established. We established our business account. We did it in order from the start. And then when I was ready to step out, and it's been several years later since we started Leaving B in 2006. We didn't start as Fit Time until 2015. And at that time, I was like, I'm done with corporate. I'm not going to work for anybody else again. We've done it for you. We can do it again. And he was in a position where he's established the business and growth enough to support me to come off corporate, and just being very financial conscious of knowing that if you don't work, there's no income, and having a budget, sticking to it would be my key tips.
All right. And then we'll move the question on along. What are some key pieces? And I guess with your sentiments will be probably pretty much the same, Tito, for that. So we'll move the question on to Ms. Cheyenne.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Well, like Yolanda said, you definitely want to make sure that, keep in mind, everybody's not going to have a good support system, but if you believe in yourself, that's support in itself for whoever out there that does not have a good support system. But you definitely want to make sure that you have an EIN number. You want to make sure that you're doing your, like Yolanda said, your filings, because the IRS does not care who, if you are under stone somewhere, you're making money, they want you to make sure that you're paying your taxes and they will come after you. So you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. You want to make sure that you're filing what you're supposed to be filing. You do not necessarily have to come out right off the bat and incorporate. You can do it as a doing business as. So it's just knowing where you want to start off. You want to make sure you have a business bank account just to legitimize what you're doing. What else? And definitely keep your finances separate. You don't want to mix your personal and your business, because that's going to get very messy. So you want to keep your business and personal finances separate. I think we all, as entrepreneurs, we've made that mistake, and you learn the hard way. So you have to learn to just make sure that it's separate. And that's pretty much it. Believe in yourself, believe in God, and know that if that's what He has out there for you, then you're going to succeed. But it definitely takes a lot of hard work.
All right, we'll move the next question to Mr. Dunn. Tito, what's been the most difficult thing that you faced as an entrepreneur that almost made you want to say, geez, I want to just go on and clock in somewhere? What's been the most difficult challenge that you faced?
The hardest thing, I think, for at least in my case, is trying to get like a staff or people to like try to like clone yourself. That's the hardest part, because like, you know, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, like all the responsibilities on you. So like, you know, the young lady right there with the cleaning business, like if she has somebody go out and they mess up somebody's interior, for example, it's on her. They're going to see the person, oh, Miss Mary did it, but she's responsible for it. You know, so as the business owner, they see you as the owner, you know, so like finding somebody that can really like have the same passion and is really going to go out there and really grind and really do the same job, and with integrity, you know, showing up on time, you know, really trying to solve a problem, you know, being on time, on task. I think that's the hardest part. Not so much that, you know, you can't do the job, is the aspect of can they do it to the same you know, without you having to come over and re-clean something, or me have to go respray some, or, you know, her have to, you know, get into a different position as far as workout wise? Can somebody just bring with the same energy and same passion that you have? So that's the main thing that I think I struggle with, is getting somebody to like kind of clone me, so I can be on one side in peace and they can work the other side, and then we can kind of come together as one.
All right, same question to you, Miss Yolanda.
In addition to what Tito said, you know, finding good instructors, I can't teach every class, but also I just came to the realization probably within the last 30 days that, you know, although the people and the numbers may not be flowing in, just knowing that my purpose is bigger than my current situation. So I may not be here at the studio, but I know I'm going to be somewhere else, still promoting and encouraging others to live their healthiest and most active life. So not getting stuck in the current situation, knowing that people are just now getting back in, and kind of wears you down when you come in and you grind and you know you're working so hard and the fruits of your labor may not, you know, bloom right away. But just knowing that, you know, that God has so much more in store for you, and it's, you know, every situation is temporary when you're operating in your purpose. But it's not always easy, even though you know it. It's, you know, being in it is the challenging part.
Same question to you, Miss Cheyenne.
I think one of the biggest things that have sometimes made me want to give up is when you lose a client. It's never easy, especially if it's a big client and you know how many dollars you're going to be losing from that. But you have to just keep positive and know that when you lose one, you get one.
Oh,
so you just go out there and push and make sure that being an entrepreneur, you never get to really sit down and just close your eyes and say, well, I have enough, and there's no reason to market, there's no reason to sell. You always have to constantly, I mean, like Yolanda said, if you have something that you're passionate about, you're going to be constantly selling, and you're going to be constantly talking about what you do and showing your value. So you want to always be selling. Let's just put it that way. Not selling in an obnoxious way, but just selling to make sure that you constantly have business or your name out there.
Exactly.
So, and question to you along the same lines, Ms. Cheyenne, I'll ask you, how has faith played a part in your entrepreneurial path?
If I didn't have it, I don't think I would be here. Because I mean, there have been many times when I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. This is just too difficult. I can very well go out there and find a job and make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year and be comfortable, or whether I want to do this. So I mean, it's definitely a constant. Is this what you want me to do? And if that's what you want me to do, then how are you going to provide for me? So.
All right. Mr. Dunn, the same question to you. How's faith played a role in your path?
Well, trying to, you know, like I said, my biggest obstacle is like far as the fear factor. So, you know, in this here, like it's all about faith. You know, because like there's nothing promised the next day. So primarily, like, you know, you're looking for an unknown phone to ring, you know, or an unknown contact. You might be in a store and run into somebody like unknown. But one thing I do know is like, this is even before I started now, like, you know, I do think that tithing is actually essential for that, because that opens up so many doors, like not so much as financially, but like, you know, kids' health, family health, protection, you know, wisdom, you know, like always seeking God for wisdom, you know, primarily before I start my day, you know, just kind of guiding my path, you know, combining anything that's coming up against me, like any kind of attacks that are coming against me as far as mentally, physically, anything that's, you know, set for me, any booby traps for me, you know, I ask that all that be exposed. And also too, you know, praying for the wife's, you know, health, you know, that everything with her safety, you know, her joints are strong, you know, that no injuries come her way, no lack. So as far as the praying aspect of it, and then if you're an entrepreneur, like 90% of it, in my opinion, is faith, because of the aspect of, it's not like World Portillo's where somebody's going to ride through hungry. It's like, you won't have to wait until the phone ring, or something like that, and you don't know when that next call is coming. But the pity back up what the young lady was saying before, like when she's talking about losing a client, like I know in my life that no is going to be a bigger yes. So like, you lose a client, you're gonna get a bigger client. So all my time, it's always like, oh man, I lost this client. They might have moved away, and then somebody that moved to the house, they might come, and then I might even make more off that. So just remember that, the no's mean a bigger yes. So as far as my walk.
All right, same question, Miss Yolanda.
Very good. What Cheyenne and Tito has said. For me, faith is so important, and I know, I told Tito this too, that God, He speaks to me, and I've had my own timeline on stuff, and I'm like, okay, He's told me something, and I'm like, okay, God, I hear you, but I'm just gonna finish this verse, and before I knew it, doors were shut, and it was just like I was pushed into my purpose, because He was speaking to me so loud and I refused to listen and I was trying to be on my own time. So faith definitely is something that is our foundation. It's something that makes you walk through it in fear, because that foundation is strong. It is unshakable. That's faith. And so it helps us with that fear, and the fear comes every day. Like it's not something that goes away as an entrepreneur, as Tito was saying. It's something that at every new opportunity or goal that you have set, you're going to be doing it in fear. So get used to it, but knowing that because you are walking in faith, that God is always going to guide you and provide for you.
All right. With that, I'll ask the panel one last question. What are your top 3 tips for anybody who's thinking about taking that plunge, a walk out on faith into entrepreneurship? 3 quick tips. I'll let you start there, since we left off with you, Mrs. Dunn.
The ones I had said before in regards to planning and lining up your business. 2 is also connections. One of the reasons why we're on this panel is one of our connections with the African American Chamber. So also establish your connections, and networking is key, and being in a room with other people who are like-minded and even smarter than you. And then 3, just do it. Do it afraid. Just do it. If you know that God has planted that seed in you, continue watering it, and then just do it.
All right, Mr. Dunn.
I'm kind of on agreement. Like we kind of see things the same way on that there. Everything she's saying, as far as the connections, I mean, that's entrepreneur. I think that's very, very important. Also, foundation for me, like, when I was like going to branch out, like I would have never did it, unless I had, Yolanda support. It's like if you don't have a wife supporting you on that, I know I can tell you right now, that junk is not going to work, because it's too many up and down valleys, like, so if she's not, I'm not saying this wife, but wife and husband, either way. But for me, I really needed her to support me, on this, like this venturing out. But, she always, with love was like, oh, you can do it. Always encouraging. She was like my cheerleader. And so like when it came for her to become an entrepreneur, like I was like gun ho, like trying to do over and above whatever you need, whatever you want me to do. I'm trying, because I know like what that support did for me. So
give and get.
Yep.
All right, Miss Cheyenne, you want to close us out with your top 3?
Sure. I would definitely say pray about it. Make sure that it's something that's actually that you're supposed to be doing. And going back to what Yolanda said earlier, you definitely want to do something that you're passionate about. You don't want to just do something that's trending, that you think, okay, well, this is what's trending right now, let me do it. Do something that's passionate. Definitely do your market research. Do research, continuously educate yourself. You never have enough education. There's constantly stuff constantly changing. So you want to make sure that you're on top of what's going on in your industry. And network. Definitely, that is definitely key, as Yolanda said. So three takeaways.
All right. With that, I will thank all of our distinguished panelists for joining today, and open it up to any questions that anyone else may have on the panel here that you wanted to have covered. Or actually, with that being the case, I'll turn it back over to Miss Emily Butler first.
Yes, Mr. Wright, as per usual, fantastic. We just want to thank you. I know he's got some banking business he has to take care of. So thank you so much. For what I would ask for each of the panelists to do is to please put your contact information, your name, and your email, your business phone number in the chat in case people want to get in touch with you, maybe about business, or maybe ask you another question about entrepreneurship. If you could put that in the chat, that would be fantastic. Also, I wanted to mention, was that phenomenal? Mr. Young also has another commitment, so he might be leaving. Ms. Cheyenne and Ms. Yolanda, I don't know if we have a little more time. We do have, I guess,
We do.
Audience.
Yes.
Any question in the audience? Okay. Hearing none. Okay, we do have a few other things to talk about. I heard I listened to a lot of information out there in the ionosphere, and was listening to some information from Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey says, you know what? Everybody, all of us, including our young lady back here, has gifts and talents. We all have them. It's just tuning into those gifts and talents to turn that, if we choose, into a business. And he gave some very simple advice. He said, this was Steve Harvey, he said, don't overthink it. Think of something where if you can only just make $10 off of whatever you're selling. Maybe you do cook, maybe you are a chef. And if you can figure out how to make a $10 meal and sell that, you now have $10, right? Now, figure out how to do that 10 more times. Mm-hmm. And now you got $100. Now you got $100, right? Okay, so you figure out how to get that $100. Or to Steve Harvey, he says, figure out how to do that 10 more times. And now you got $1,000. Okay? So now you got that $1,000. You figure out how to do that. Do that 10 more times. You got $10,000. Okay, it's getting more difficult, Now you have to figure out how to get that $10. But now you figured that out.
That's right.
Do it 10 more times. And what do you have? Got $100,000. So you just constantly moving up. He said that's how people become millionaires. It's not thinking about, okay, how can I get from zero to hero? How can I get from zero to $1 million? That's what everybody wants to do, but it takes steps, it takes time. And he said just focus on that time. Our panelists also mentioned being a member of an organization called the Quad County African American Chamber of Commerce. I would strongly recommend you take out your phone, put that in your phone, research that when you get home. Quad County African American Chamber of Commerce. They have a few events coming up. One on June 30th in their Business Insight series, and this is absolutely free. You can go on virtual, just like our panelists were here today. It's how you can obtain credit, sponsored by our friends at Wintrust Bank. Now, once again, Mr. Wright is from Wintrust as well. So if you have some questions about starting a business, he is one of the persons with the biggest hearts I've ever met in my life, in addition to Pastor Barbara. So he will be more than happy to help you answer any questions that you might have about starting your business. And even if you're just thinking about it, you might want to think about opening that business account to get yourself started. Okay, so that is going to be on June the 30th, and that's going to be on how to obtain that credit for your business, what you need to do. You're thinking about it, you need to start taking those steps. So the other thing is on August 14th. Now, Mr. Dunn mentioned he's an avid golfer. And they are having, on August 14th, the Five County Chamber is having their golf outing. Now, it's also for scholarships for our youth, for our children, so we can support the children. But it can also be for you if you're interested in entrepreneurship. Would you like to meet some people like Ms. Dunn personally?
Yes.
Ms. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Cheyenne?
Yes.
Sit there and talk with her and find out even more. Get your personal questions answered about your business and get a little exercise too. If you're interested in being an entrepreneur, you need to hang out with who? Entrepreneurs.
Right.
You hang out with 9 entrepreneurs, you are destined to be 10. So, but you gotta be where they are, so you can get the information that they have. They also talk about getting a mentor.
Right.
That is so huge. And whatever you do, you need to focus and be in touch with other people who are doing the same thing. You know, people, as they say, perish for what? Lack of knowledge. And a lot of times we're not going out and getting that knowledge that we need to move to that next level. So these are ways that you can do this. So right on the chamber website is information about the golf outing. It's going to be on August 14th. And I plan to be there. And I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. and Mrs. Dunn, as well as Ms. Cheyenne, and others who are part of that chamber that at those events. So,
You have to get the telephone number.
telephone number for the chamber.
The information.
I can tell you go to, I don't have to take the number,
Okay, I got the website.
but it's www.quadcountychamber.com. But, quadcountychamber.com. But you can go right on African American Chamber of Commerce and get that information. And speaking of going to sites, go to www.morganparkchurch.com and sign up for the Midwest Men's Conference. I don't want to say the wrong number, so I'll ask for some help. This is how many years that this conference has been?
34.
34? Oh, see, I would have been off. So I'm so glad I didn't say that. 34 years that this event has been going on, the Midwest Men's Conference. So you definitely want to be a part of this. In just a few minutes, those of us who are in attendance will be having a wonderful dinner. And they do know how to feed you. It's the church, right? They know how to feed you. So they're going to do that in just a few minutes. And they'll be doing that also again tomorrow as part of the activities here with the conference. But it's going to be a wonderful conference. So if you can stay tuned, number one, we are going to break for an hour from 5 to 6. We will reconvene at 6 o'clock. Keynote speaker will be on at 7:15. And then we'll start over again tomorrow. It's a 2-day event. So what you want to do is, number one, go to www.morganparkchurch.com, register. Come on, if you're in the neighborhood, come on down, right off of Country 11 and I-57. Or you can join us virtually on this format, on this platform. So does that make any sense?
Yes.
Yes and yes?
Yes.
All right. So once again, just want to give thanks, honor, and glory to God for this opportunity. We have, you see our panelists, they did not quiver, they didn't argue, they said, hey, here I am, take me. you have people who are interested in entrepreneurship, we'll be happy to come on. And you can see there are God-fearing people. They're great people, and we just want to thank them once again, as well as Alan Wright from Wintrust Bank for their time. And hopefully the information is in the chat. Hopefully we can go and seek them out if you want to answer more questions or use their services or what have you. And with that being said, it is 4:59.
All right.
Good plan.
And also have to thank our technical staff. They came from Benton Harbor, and I mean, they set everything up in about 2 minutes. So it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal help. Just want to thank everybody for everything that they did. And once again, I'm gonna turn it over to Pastor Barclay.
Amen.